Hello, this is Joanne Hewins. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I have a blog at lovetocreate.typepad.com. Sorry about that. Today we're going to make a birthday card, and it looks like this. And we are using the Let's Go Fishing paper, although you can see no fish. So let me show you that paper. It is in the annual catalog, and it's on page, let me skip over here to the papers, right here on page 131, right here in the middle. If you have a fisherman in your life, then I highly recommend that you get this paper along with the Gone Fishing, I believe it is, bundle. But I don't have any fishermen in my life. But I love the paper, and I love that I can make masculine cards with it. So let me just show you quickly the paper. Well, fingers work. So here's one side. Of course, we have 6 double-sided sheets. So this is one side of the paper. Love that. And then the other side looks like this. You might not be able to tell that one from that one too much. But there you go. Beautiful papers, good, beautiful colors. It wouldn't have to be for masculine cards. Look at that beautiful blue there. That could be for anybody, of course. But there we go. So let me get started with the card. I'm going to lay this one over here so you can see what it looks like. And we're going to start with a piece of Night of Navy. This has been cut at 5.5 by 8.5. That's 1/2 of a 8.5 by 11 sheet. And I've already scored it at 4 1/4. And I've already folded it, but we will use our bone folder to burnish that fold. Now, when you have a piece of paper scored like this and you fold it over, I suggest that you still look at the corners and try to match those corners. Sometimes our score lines are not perfectly straight, even though we try to do that. So match those corners and make sure that it's square, so to say. And we're going to start with our designer paper. We've got 5 strips of that designer paper, and they are cut at 1 inch by 4 1/8 inches. Now, if you want to conserve on paper, make it just 4 inches. Make it 1 inch by 4 inches. That way you could get 3 of them out of one side of the paper. With the 4 1/8, you can only get 2 of those. So that's something to think about. And you might even want to change it from 1 inch to match the room that you have at the top and the bottom with the sides. You might want to make that be 7/8 by 4, and that might work just as well. I'm looking to see if I have a pen to write that down. I don't. I'll put it in the notes for that. Okay, so to attach that paper, I'm going to be using my multi-purpose glue, and I'm going to start at each end. So I'm going to do 1. Now I've already made a card and I can see the spacing, but I'm going to tell you what I was thinking to start out. So I did 1 of the cards, or 1 of the strips of paper, not cards. And then I'm going to do another one at the other end. Okay, I think I've got that about the same on each end there. Now, if you just made these 7/8 of an inch, of course, there's going to be a little bit more space in between, and you may kind of differ on how you would approach doing this. Now, since I've already made a card, I know exactly how to put the spacing that's needed, but we'll show you how I did it. So I'm using my grid paper to help me find the center of the card. So I'm using this dark line right here to help me. And I want to make sure that the same number of boxes are on each side. So that looks about even to me, but I'm going to count them to be sure. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that is right in the center. I've got my card straight, lined up on that line right here. And so I can see that my card is pretty straight. So I want to go ahead and put the glue on my strip. And it doesn't really need a lot of glue. And I'm going to put it so that I can see that there are 2 squares on this side of the line and 2 squares on that side of the line. And I want to bring it down, I want to bring it down so that it's the same at the bottom. 2 squares on each side and 2 squares on each side. And that way I know I've got that strip right in the middle. So that's one way you can use to figure that out if you need to. So then these 2 pieces will just go in between, and what I want to do is kind of space them the same from side to side. So I think that's pretty good. And then we'll add our last strip in. Now this card isn't very hard to make, but what I wanted to show you was how to make the words or the letters fit your tag. So then we've got that done. I'm going to set that aside for a minute, and I'm going to work on the tag that we have here. So I've cut a piece of designer paper. We're going to be using the Tailor Made Tags to help us with our tag, and I'm going to use the largest of this. This one is plainer. To me, it looks a little bit more masculine than this other one. So I've cut my paper so that I have room to cut out my tag. And we'll lay that aside for a moment. Let's worry with our letters. And for the letters, I'm using the Alphabet a la Mode paper. So I'll get out the words or the letters that I need for birthday on that. So I'm going to need a B, an I, an R, T, H, D, A, and Y. Y's on this back one right here. Okay, so those are the letters that I'm going to need. And you can see when I compare this tag with the one on our original card that this tag is longer than the die. And I want to show you how to do that. So I'm going to be cutting my letters out of Night of Navy paper. And this is the one I was using for the first card. And I used on the back of my paper some of the adhesive sheets. So let me pull a little piece of that over. This is going to go on. I need to finish covering this part because I'm going to use all of that for my letters. But let me show you the package that this comes in. It's adhesive sheets. There are 12 of these in a package, so you get a lot. and you can cut them in. You can see I've cut this one up in a strip. This one is not quite as wide as what we need, but I think it will fit okay. So I'm just going to bring in my trimmer, or a trimmer, and I need to make this, let's see, about 2 1/4 inches, I would think. Maybe I'll do it a little bit longer than that. Okay, so we've got that to add to our paper. And this does have lines to help you with removing paper, and luckily there's one right there to help me pull that off. So the sticky is on this side, and I'm going to lay that down like that. And then I'm going to turn this over and add my letters, but let me go ahead and bring in, and move some stuff around here, and let me bring in my cut and emboss machine. Okay, for this, let me move this a little bit more this way. Okay, and I'll pull this out. My sandwich here is just the regular base. This plate, base 1, plate 2, a clear plate, and I'm going to use this one, a clear plate, and then I'm going to have my items I want to cut. So let me put this here, and I'm going to go ahead and place my letters on here. So B, I. Now, of course, I really wouldn't have to put this in order, but why not if I can? I apologize for my fingernails. I haven't been able to get to my girl. She's been on vacation. Then I had the granddaughters here, and I closed my finger in the door of the car briefly, and that nail came off, and anyway, they're a mess, but I'm going Tuesday. I'm going soon. So I'm going to just put my plate on. Now you can hold that with washi tape if you want to. I think I'm okay. And I'm going to go back. And because I have that extra piece of paper, I think I'm going to go back again, just to be safe. I don't think I would really need to do it 4 times, but okay. So let me take this out of the way then, and we'll put our letters on our paper for the tag. Now I want to make sure that I leave room for this angled part on there. So we'll start with the letter B. I'm just going to get that backing off. The backing turns that letter into a sticker. And I'm probably going to be a little bit short, but, or time, not short, but a little bit fiddle-fingered, and it may take me a while to get this done, but we'll go ahead and do the best we can. Okay, so we're going to do our I. Okay, and I want to try to make that about the same. Ready for R. Okay. H. Okay, now for the H, I'm trying to figure out which way to do it, this way or this way. There's more room on this end and less on this, but I'm going to kind of hold it up, I think, to this R, and I'm going to put it with the more space up at the top. I don't think I can go wrong that way. Okay. Okay, the D. Well, just be patient. Okay, and I'll get that A. And I think I'll go ahead and just get the Y out. And one more letter. Oh, I think I'm holding it down with my tip. Okay, and I'm just going to push this away. I'll do the cleaning and putting away of that in just a few minutes. Let me bring in, again, the die that I'm going to use from Tailor Made Tags. And while I'm getting my machine, I'll mention again that I use the alphabet a la mode for the letters. So I'm going to put my tag here, and I think I am going to use an old piece of washi to kind of hold that in place. And I'm going to, see, I don't have enough room. What I'm going to do is put my plate here. It's not going to go past this point, so the die will not cut that. So let me do that much. Let's see what we've got here. If I take the die off, I've got this part cut, but the rest is not. So now I'm going to lay this on here so that I get the rest of the tag. And I'm going to pull this tape off now. I might put it back in just a minute, but I want to lay that on there, and I should be able to feel when that tag, when the grooves of the tag, the stitching on the tag kind of align on that. So I think I have it, and this time I'm going to put my plate right in there. Actually, I think I'm going to move it all around this way. And the plate will go right here and not over that part. And let's hope I met the two sides I did. Okay, so here is what it ends up looking like. Oops. There's my tag. I didn't quite get that meeting exact. I apologize for that. But that's the idea of how to do it. So I'm going to move it back on here. So I was not exactly successful with that, but we'll fix it so that you can't really tell that there's a little ridge here and here. I've got some thoughts on how to fix that. I'm going to pull in my 2003, 2005 jute trim. It has all of the end colors. I'm missing the Moody Mauve. I've already used it up. So I'm going to use the Pebbled Path. That's the color of those stripes. And I'm just going to cut me a strip to tie on my tag. So I'm going to just tie it, because this jute is rather thick. I'm going to tie it just once. To go on my tag. And then I'll show you what I'm going to do in the middle. I'm going to go ahead and add some dimensionals to the tag. And I think I'll put 2 more here and here. And I'm going to put a, hold on just a second. I knew I'd forget something, but it wasn't too far away. I'm going to get a glue dot and put that right there underneath that tag or on the jute trim, and that's going to hold that in place for me. So let's take these off. I'm using my Take Your Pick tool kind of unsuccessfully, but I'm using that to help me take off those things. And I'm going to put the tag kind of like that. Now I'm not quite finished with my cutting, and I think I'll just maybe trim those a little. Okay, but they're fine to go wherever they want to go. All right, and now I want to put the word happy on there. Now I'm getting that word from the Biggest Wish stamp set, and I'm using this word happy, and I'm going to be stamping it on a piece of basic white with my Night of Navy pad. So let's work on that. Okay, and gosh, we're going to be cutting around that paper, that word. So that's good. And I'm just going to take my snips and cut around that. And you don't have to do it perfectly. I like to leave a little bit of the white around. And I'm just going to kind of weave a little up and down on that area. to do the same there. And like I say, it doesn't have to be perfect in any way. And I kind of try to turn the paper with my left hand more than turning the scissors a lot. So I'm going to take, this is a different piece of dimensionals that I had that I think will work perfectly to just put a little bit on there. I'm just going to trim these a little. Now, of course, your mini dimensionals would be a good thing to fit in that area as well. Okay. We'll get that up. Okay. And I'm going to put this happy right in this area where, let me see if I can make it show up a little bit better. There's an area where I really have just a little bit of a hitch between when I did the different parts of the tag. So I'm going to put happy over that. And nobody will ever know the difference, that it didn't meet exact. So there's my happy. Let me put a dimensional, not a dimensional, but a glue dot right here under that part of that Y. Okay, and I think the rest is fine. All right, so we've gotten most of that card done now. I'm going to cut a few balloons because I want to hide down here that little glitch that I have that didn't meet quite perfectly. So I'm going to cut a balloons, and at this time I'm going to use this piece of the In Color, the 2003-2005 In Color Designer Series paper. And I'm going to be using the Beautiful Balloons dies, and I'm going to use the small balloons. And I think I can cut 2 of them at the same time. And I think that I'm just going to cut that quickly with the die cut machine off of the camera. It might be a little bit faster than trying to pull those in. Let me get my clear plate. And I really want 3 balloons because, but there went my dies. They just went all over the place. There's 2 balloons. Here's one in my lap, so we'll use that one. And I see I've gotten a mark on that paper, so I will avoid that with my cutout. Okay. I just love the dots on that, and I decided that rather than using the piece of the fishing paper that I did on this first card, I just thought the balloons might be cuter. So 1 balloon, I'm going to add a dimensional up here near the top. But the top, actually, I should have put that more toward the bottom probably. I'm going to clip a part to put at the bottom from here. But I don't need to cover up much on my tag, so I can just put this one right like that, and that's going to cover up that little glitch on that tag right there. So that's one of the things that we do as stampers, is make ways to cover up or camouflage our mistakes. And it's a way to become a little bit creative. So this balloon I'm going to put up, I think I'm going to just glue it. Maybe up in here. Oops. And then this one, I will put up here. Like that. So there's the front, except for our embellishments. And I will be using the, I know I have them. There they are. I'll be using the in color again. I've used my Booty Mauve, but I have some of the Pebbled Path left, and that's what I need. So we'll just add a couple of these here and there on our card. What do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll do one more. 5. There we go. We'll keep that odd. So there's the front of this card. And let's talk about the inside of it. I have a piece of basic white, 4 by 5 1/4. And I have a piece of the blue. This is a little bit thicker than the 1 inch. This is 1 1/4 inches. Let me make 1 1/2 inches. And I'm going to glue this to this part. And I tend to cut little strips like this a little bit longer than my paper because I want to make sure that it's big enough. So I'm going to put these strips on before, in fact that one's not even cut straight. I'm going to put, well, neither is that one. We've got room. I'm just going to butt that up, and then I'm going to turn my paper over and cut off any that's sticking out. Okay. And then this will go on the inside. I am going to stamp a saying. This one didn't have a saying, but I have a person that I want to send this one to for sure. And I'm going to go ahead and add a saying on the inside. So this is from, let me bring in the stamp set. This is from Beautiful Balloons. That's what the die set is a part of. And this says, I think it's time for a celebration. So let me stamp that. I'm going to put my paper so that it's straight on the grid paper. I hope that will help me. Okay, there we go. And I think that I might have a little problem right there with the ink. So I'm just going to pull my embellishments in, and I'm going to get the smallest one and just put a little embellishment there. All right, and this goes inside the card. Okay, I hope that you, even though I didn't do it perfectly, I hope that you saw the correct strategy for making something longer or shorter. You can do that with really anything, any kind of die. You can increase the length of it. You can also make it shorter the same way. So here are my 2 cards. And let me review that I used 3 kinds of dies today. They've slipped a little out of reach, but I'll go over that again. We used the Tailor Made Tags. We also use the beautiful balloons for the balloons. And then we use the alphabet a la mode for our card. And then we also use 2 stamp sets. We use beautiful balloons, and we used Biggest Wish. I would love for you to visit my online store. Here is the address for that. If you need any supplies, I would love to help you. Thank you so much for listening to me today and for watching my older videos as well. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.